All right. Well, here we go. This is another episode of the UnchARTed podcast. Today, I have with me Andrea Sanchez. And she's the artist. She's responsible for all this beautiful work behind me. UnchARTed. Oh, this is UnchARTed. So, before I get into anything, just tell me a little bit about yourself and give me your background.
Sure. So I'm an East Hartford native. Well, I grew up in Hartford and East Hartford.
Okay.
Went to East Hartford High, and I was always creative, always dancing, always like into musicals and show choir. And I didn't really start painting though until probably like 2015, 2016.
Okay.
And then so I've been taking it more seriously the past like 2 or 3 years now.
Got you.
So it's been a fun ride.
Yeah.
I'm a mom.
Okay.
My son is 2.5 years old.
Yep.
So he'll be 3 in May. So he takes up a lot of my life.
Yeah.
And I enjoy every minute of it. But the moments that I do get to sit down and paint, it's definitely, needed. And
Yeah.
it's very therapeutic too.
Yeah,
So.
for sure. So, does your son paint with you at all?
Oh, all the time.
All the time, yeah.
Okay. I mean, I can only keep, he's 2.5, so I can
Yep.
only really keep him occupied and entertained for a short amount of time.
Yep.
I can go for hours.
Yeah, for sure.
One of those things.
Okay, so now when I look at your work, the immediate word that pops into my head is pride.
Okay. Oh, good.
I feel you're very prideful of are you from, like, did you ever live in Puerto Rico at all?
So I have family in Puerto Rico. My family is from Puerto Rico.
Okay.
But I visit Puerto Rico.
Okay. So when you go to Puerto Rico, where do you go?
My family's from Atillo.
Okay.
And Comerío.
Okay.
So Atillo is a northern center town, right next to Arecibo.
Yep.
And it's a coastal town.
Okay.
Fun fact about Atillo is that they have just as many cows as there are people.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Man.
So it's like the largest like dairy supply town. So there, if you have a cow,
Yep.
it's very, it's a thing.
That's a thing.
That's a thing.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
cool. So I've been one time, getting ready to go back again this year.
Good.
But I went to
When?
Vega Baja.
Okay.
And so that's where my mother-in-law has a house. And it was like, cool. This is not, you know what I'm saying? It was so different. I've never bought food from someone like off the street or anything. Like here, I've seen it, but I'm like, nah, I'm not doing that. But there, I just felt like it was okay.
Yeah, it's the norm.
Yeah, I really loved it. So having that experience and then seeing an artist like you where I'm like, I saw a picture and it was like, oh, that's old San Juan. Oh, I know what that is. I know that's a coquille. Like, and this is stuff, it gets me excited because going there, it was so enlightening. And then my kids they're like half Puerto Rican. So, but they say, I'm Puerto Rican.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
And they really want to embrace the culture and stuff. So
That's great.
I'm sorry, I might be going off on a
No,
tangent right
you're
now.
good. This is what I love.
Yeah, but
because it's true. Like that's what I pull out. My whole life, growing up, I was like India, la India, because I'm darker. I'm of a darker tone.
Yeah.
And so Puerto Ricans, we come in many different shades, many different styles, but we all have that sense of pride. We all have that. This is where we're from. This is our island. This is home. And it's we're a mixture of a bunch of different people from the past.
Yeah.
And for me, the thing that I strongly connect with is my indigenous Taino roots, because that's what I've always been. When people look at me, they go, "What are you?"
Yeah.
What are and so it's a compliment because I get to also talk about things that people don't learn about.
For sure.
People don't learn in history books about the Tainos.
Yeah.
You really have to either hear from it from storytelling, like our ancestors passing it down, and that's what happened with me. A lot of my learning came through my family, and then I had to go and do my own research and learn more.
Are the Tainos, is that connected to Loisa?
So Luisa is, yes, she was a cacique so right now there's a town in Puerto Rico called Loisa.
Okay.
And so she was the last cacique of the Tainos, so the last chief.
Okay.
And she, there's a long story about her. I can go in on her.
Gotcha. Yeah, I see.
Yeah, so she's, very, very much an important figure.
Yep.
A complete culture-changing figure.
Yep.
Puerto Rico was never the same after her. So it's a very important story to know.
Gotcha.
So I encourage everyone to go and do their research
Check that out. Okay,
and learn about her. Yeah.
All right, cool. So now let's get to this art.
The art, you get lost. I'm telling you, my culture really is just one of those things that I dive in and I get lost in it.
Yeah.
So when I'm painting, I do feel a lot of my ancestors, and it sounds kind of corny, right? But it's true.
No.
Like I feel like my ancestors kind of speak through me, give me their stories that they kind of experience, or even just their personality. You know, for example, like Mango right behind you. She's a bomba dancer.
Okay.
And I just kind of feel like, I love to dance. So who came before me in my life, in my bloodline that, love to dance too? And I kind of connected with that. So I do.
Is she made up?
Or she is made up. She's
okay.
not. She doesn't resemble. Well, she does resemble me and some of my family.
Yep.
But she's not a specific character in my life, which is great because I do get to kind of create these people that I've never met.
Yep.
Yep. So my art, when I sit down and I try to, just come up with something organic. Mm-hmm. And so I just allow myself. I play music. I get in the zone. Sometimes I spend 10 minutes on it. Yep. Sometimes I'll come back, spend 5 hours on it.
Okay.
So I think the longest time that I've sat in front of a canvas is 13 hours. And
oh, wow. Yeah.
Like, man, I should probably eat something.
Yeah. But when you're doing something, you're enjoying it, time really does fly when you're having fun. You're enjoying yourself.
Does.
It's all good. So, all right. How do you, decide what you're going to paint? Or, how do you pick your subjects?
They kind of come through me, through just a vision, almost in a sense. First I see color.
Okay.
And then I see a moment, I guess. So for example, Diosa Luna, which is the moon goddess in Taino.
Okay.
I put her above a door because I was reflecting on my trip to Viejo San Juan, and the doors in Old San Juan, all those doors are repurposed materials from Spanish warships and all the different materials that came to the land.
Okay.
When people were traveling to the land.
Yep.
So the Tainos and the people who were there, they helped rebuild the city with material used from those travels.
Gotcha.
So it begs to wonder, all the different types of spirits and connections that are with these doors. Yep. And all the people that walk through them.
Yeah. So now you said colors come to you. That's always something that I'm curious about how an artist arrives at the colors for a piece. Right. Because different colors bring out different emotions. So you seem pretty warm. Is this your general kind of area that you're in with your pictures, or do you? I don't know. How do you do with that, with picking your colors?
So for sure, it brings I bring the feeling into it first. So for example, the black and white Taka Taino, which is we are Taino, I am Taino. Okay. That's who we are. And the black and white is it's for the resistance. It's a symbol of being oppressed and people wanting to have some change for some equality and equity. So I kind of wanted to do some respect to that. Yep. Because like I said before, a lot of people don't learn the Taino culture or the history. Yep. So there's so many things that are words that are used in everyday language that came from us. Gotcha. And they want to pretend that we never existed. Right. So trying to bring back that storytelling. So I play true to the emotion, I guess you can say. Gotcha. But every painting's different. I do have colder, there are some blues and on greens. Some of my first painting that I ever sold was of a cacique. Okay. And she has a blue headdress, green background, you know, and she's very bright, very vibrant. And I guess it just comes with the emotion that I kind of put into it. I do like to consider myself more pop artist color. Okay. I do love those bright vibrance. Yep. So it's something that I do gravitate towards, but I really love any color. So whatever emotion brings it out, like you said. Yep. I do want to translate the story through the color. Okay. So what is your favorite color? Oh, it changes on the day. Okay. Yeah, but orange, something similar to that, a dark orange is usually my favorite. It's when I want to think peaceful, I go to that color.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. You're the second artist to say like it changes all the time.
Yeah, it
like,
does. It changes
or
all
like
the
it
time.
might be different later on. Like, you know, it's like what?
Absolutely. For a long time, it was purple, like lilac, like a very light purple.
Yep.
And then it turned into like a royal purple. So I mean, I guess it just depends on where I am in my life at that point.
Yeah, got you.
The day I wake up, you know.
Yeah. So do you have any formal training in regards to art?
No.
No.
Just being a human.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, trial and error, time, patience.
Yep.
And understanding that it's my source of therapy and it's my source of creativity.
For sure.
And it's also become a source of storytelling.
Yep.
And conversation. And I've met so many people who are, you know, when I put my stuff in the galleries, they're like, oh my gosh, you know, like you, I know what that is. I can connect with it.
Yeah.
You know, and not to say that anything else in the gallery is not able to be able to, connected with.
Yeah.
But it's nice to have those conversations where it's like, you understand.
Yeah,
you know?
for sure.
And then have those conversations to teach.
Yeah,
So.
absolutely. So, really quick, in this picture,
Yes.
what are the words in the background?
So the words are the national anthem for Puerto Rico.
Okay.
So it's written in 3 times just to fill the canvas.
Okay.
But I do feel like that number 3 is very significant. It's one of my favorite numbers.
Okay.
So the fact that it fit 3 times perfectly was like, you know.
No coincidence.
No coincidence at all.
Yes.
It is what it is.
So what is your connection to the number 3?
I mean, different things, but mostly it starts with my birthday.
Okay.
Birthdays are very important to me.
All right.
So my birthday is in March.
March
so
what?
March 23rd.
Wow.
When's yours?
No.
I'm just saying.
It's my wife. Her birthday is March 24th.
Oh, so she's married.
Yeah. Yes, she is.
Oh, yes. Yeah, we're the best.
Yeah. She says that all the time. Like, yeah, we're the best. Like, all right.
What's your wife's name?
Jessica.
Hi, Jessica.
Hey,
Go Aries, girl.
All right. So, all right.
Yeah.
This one just go ahead. What were you gonna say?
Oh, I was just going off of my experience. Yeah. So like I said, I've just been painting for a couple years, taking it more seriously the past few years.
Yep.
But it's been cool to also have that connection with people where it's like it doesn't. Not that having a degree in art is a bad thing, or it's definitely something that's great and it's a great achievement.
Yep.
You know, so it's just, for me, it's been cool to kind of experience the ways of my own brush.
Yep.
And kind of, break my own boundaries.
For sure.
Yeah.
So I think, first of all, there's a lot of artists that, even ones that have gone to school, they're like, I went, but you don't really need it, you know? So that's one thing. But then also, I feel like it's better when you learn something organically because you figure out your way. And by the time you get comfortable, it's like no one can take it from you. No one can, that's your style, you know? So, yeah. And then otherwise, it's just art. Like, you don't have to be taught to be creative. Even people that say they aren't creative, they have some level of creativity.
And they don't know that it's not necessarily, they think, oh, artist. You don't have to be a painter.
Right.
You know, you can be an artist in many different ways. You can be an artist in the way that you talk, in poetry, and in acting, and dance, and just being, and also just being creative in how you work with people.
Yep.
You know, so there's an art to people.
There's an art literally
to
everything.
There's an art to everything.
For sure.
You know, when someone says, "Oh, I'm not artistic," I'm like, "Yeah, you are. You're very creative.
Yeah.
Very creative."
So I was saying that to artists when I started this podcast. I was like, "Well, I'm not an artist, but so I guess it's crazy that I want to interview artists." But they're like, "No, but you are an artist. What you're doing is very creative."
Artistic.
It's like, you know,
very creative. Absolutely.
And I mean, I do put thought into it and stuff. So I'm like, okay, I guess I hear you. You know, so that's that. But now, how long, you said it's been about 3 to 5 years where you've been taking it serious? Right. So are you a full-time artist?
Full-time mom, part-time cheer coach.
Okay.
And part-time bartender.
Okay.
Because, artists got to make that money somehow.
Yeah. No, and that's fine. But I'm asking because, some people don't even make any money with their art, and they just feel like, this is just has to be a hobby. And that's kind of another part of like what I want to expose with this podcast is like the business side of things. So like what are some things that you do to find work?
So when I first started painting, again, I said it was very therapeutic. So for me, it was I kept it a lot to myself. I would just post finished product, or I'll just post like my paintbrushes, whatever.
Yep.
And this is in regards to Instagram.
Yep.
And then it got to a point where people started becoming interested in my art, and I was like, no, you're not.
Yeah,
Stop.
yeah.
And I would just kind of like, I don't want to say like sell it for less, but like I wouldn't really think about a number just because they would be so interested. I'm like, well, what do you want it for?
Yeah.
And then it got to a point where I was like, you know what? Just for like ha-has, I spent, 56 hours on this painting. I spent X amount of money on materials. That's got to be worth something, right? And I really like it.
Yeah. So
if I really like it and I spent all this time on it, whoever wants it, they're gonna have to pay for it.
Yeah.
And it's just thinking to, thinking to, because if no one buys it, I get to keep it.
Yeah.
So, at the end, like I'll win. You know. And then I did that, and just for ha-has, entered it into a show, and so I turn around midway through the show, and there's a red dot.
You're like, wait.
And I freak out.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I freak out because I talked to like 3 or 4 different people that night, all very interested in the same painting.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah. And then they're asking me like, well, how did you come up with this number? And they're asking me those questions because they want to know, like, why did you put this outrageous number on this thing? And I'm just like, well, I explained, and so I talked, started enjoying my night, was hanging out with other artists, and then I freak out because I'm like, who is it?
Yeah.
Who just bought my painting? Because then I freaked out because I'm like, well, I'm not going to take the painting home with me now, so who's going to take it? And I wanted to make sure that like whoever was going to take it like really, really loved it, and like, or where are they going to bring it? But turns out people really do love it.
Yeah.
And so at that point, that night made me realize that if you really do believe in yourself, like if you really do believe in your just in your genuine emotions and genuine thought and genuine wishes, people, the right people will come to you. For the things that you truly want.
For sure.
So from the business end of it, I have now, I don't want to say focus on the business end of it because I'm still very focused on just the art and my therapy through it and my storytelling through it and the purpose that I feel like I have developed through it. I want to make sure that I stay true to who this is. And keep evolving through this. For sure. And then whoever really likes it, I'm appreciative for it. And then I'll turn into like business mode.
Gotcha.
And in a sense, I'll consult different artists and I'll consult, galleries and say, what do you think this is for? Like, what do you how do you think I should handle this? And so I do consult and kind of get advice from people who have, professional dealings.
Okay. Got you. So do you have any plans on transitioning into being full-time?
Well, right now, technically, I am a full-time mommy, so I get to spend my days kind of dabbling in and out. Being a full-time artist, at this point, I mean, why not? Yeah.
I guess that's why I'm asking.
Right? This year, I definitely, so earlier, New Year's Eve, I did a art extravaganza at Madeline's in New Haven.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, yeah. And another one that I was just like, just for connection, just for networking, also just for a party. Like, who doesn't want to go for a party on New Year's Eve,
For sure.
So I went down there, shout out to Joel and Hazel down there, Chef Hazel. Amazing food, go check it out. But just for ha-has, made some connections, made some friends, and then the next day, a painting was sold. So again, just kind of put yourself out there naturally. And I said, I want to go into 2023 with more focus on my art.
For sure.
More focus on just more creating, more bring out more of the things that are in here. And in here, and really bring it out for the world to see it.
Definitely.
So 2023, again, another one of my favorite numbers because my birthday is March 23rd.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. So 2023 is, I just want to say I want to do the best that I very can this year.
Yeah, that's it. And I think you've already proven to yourself that you can sell the art at higher prices. Right. So now it's just about putting the art out at higher prices on a more consistent basis.
Right.
The next thing you know, you'll have those moments like every day, every week. You know, you'll be like, wow, now I just sell paintings all the time.
Yeah.
That's all I do. I feel like
I'm down for that.
you're in a situation actually that it allows for a pretty smooth transition because, like you said, you're at home a lot of times, so you're able to go in and out. But I don't know if you're just in creative mode or if it's like, all right, I gotta finish this one so I have another one to put up. Like, you know, if you're thinking about it like that, you start cranking out a bunch.
Yeah, I do have a few works in the making that I start and I kind of dabble in and out.
Yep.
Sometimes I'll start a new painting and then the other one that I'm working on just kind of sits for a little bit while it marinates in ideas.
So how many paintings are you working on right now?
Oh, right now I have 3.
Okay. All right.
3. Well, I just finished one. I have paint all over my hands. So I'm like trying to hide my hands.
No, don't hide it. That's artist stuff. Like,
I know, right?
Yeah.
They look at you crazy, right?
Yeah.
But I walked into the gallery today to bring in a piece.
Okay.
And it was still wet.
Oh.
So I was like, Stacy, and Workspace has been so great. So they're like family here. So it's nice. Yeah.
Shout out to Workspace.
Shout out to Workspace.
That's
Stacy,
where we
the
are.
whole team.
Yeah, man. We're inside of their studio. They rent this out. I don't know what the rates are, but you need to holler at Stacy. She'll get you straight.
Yeah. As an artist, we do have to be very protective of our art because if not, like people will just take. There are people in this world that just take.
Yeah.
And they don't consider.
Yeah.
So and this is not a knock at all to the people that I worked with because I do want to still continue working with them in different avenues. Yep. But this is just something for artists to understand is that, where you send your art, make sure you have protection on it. So if you're valuing your art at a certain price, you should have a certain amount of insurance for it,
Oh, yeah.
When you send your work to a gallery, the galleries have insurance and so they can, if anything were to happen, they can protect your art.
Yeah.
And so when I'm sending my art or when I'm, if anyone wants to see my art, hang my art, I do ask do you have insurance or I don't mind letting you hang it.
Yeah.
But if anything were to damage or stolen or whatever, you're going to have to be responsible for that.
Yeah.
And if that location does not want to be responsible for the many hours I put into my artwork, then it's maybe not a space for my artwork to be, at least not in this version, maybe in a print.
Yeah.
But even still, printing this stuff with good quality costs money.
For sure.
So, so there's so many different things that you do have to think about when you are promoting yourself in that business aspect.
Gotcha.
Because, they say, any publicity is good publicity, absolutely. But at the end of the day, if you really care about something, whatever it is, if you really care about something, you want to protect it and you want to make sure that if anything were to happen to it, that you have something that can at least cover it in some way.
For sure.
So, there's just moments like that. But with that situation, I like I said, I do want to still continue working with avenues like that because it's what they did to bring me in for Hispanic Heritage Month was a big honor for me.
For sure.
And I know that a lot of the people who work for the company, and they were appreciative, and there was a lot of good response from it. Like you said, they recognized it. They're like, Boricua, Boqui, and so it's, so it's a great. I would love to bring that in, but like I said, I'm very protective. This is my emotion.
Yeah.
This is. I had a panic attack when I sold my first. So I'm very connected. I'm very connected with my art. So it's no offense to anyone else, but if you can't agree to protect my art, then I'm not going to just give it to you for free.
Yeah. I mean, that makes perfect sense. Now, do you copyright your work?
I don't. I probably should.
Yeah.
That's another business side of it.
Yeah, it's just as far as
I need to watermark my stuff too, but I just feel like it also takes away some of the connection that I like to share with it, I don't know.
But
it's a mix
it's you though. It's still yours.
Yeah.
And I'm like, watermark, there's an art in that in itself. You can just throw it all over your picture or place it tastefully.
Right.
But it's definitely a thing I think you should continue. But copywriting?
Yeah.
Have you heard of Art by Rizzo?
No.
Okay. That's fine because, there's a bunch of artists out there and stuff. This is an artist who made a picture. She put it up on the internet. She had a few tags on it. That was it. Walmart took this picture, removed the tags, made thousands of prints, and sold them.
Oh, you know what? Yeah.
This just broke like last year.
Yeah. I remember that.
And
same thing happened with Target.
Yep.
Their T-shirts, they were like, "This is my artwork."
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yep. So
I think that's when the watermark thing came in my brain, and I did end up watermarking like a video or two.
Yeah.
But I just forget. I just get so excited to post.
So here's the deal: the watermark is cool because everybody knows it, but it doesn't do anything for you legally.
Oh,
That's why she was hit up, because she had a watermark on hers. And she was like, okay, I'm good. But Walmart was like, yeah, it's not copywritten. You just have a watermark.
Right.
So they took off 2 of them. They sold it with one of her watermarks on it.
Jeez.
And she has no case. So.
All right. So I got to go get myself. All right. Let's go. Let's talk to my lawyer now.
Yeah. So, and then, all right. Don't let it, like, intimidate you or anything. You can, it's $85 to do 10 pieces. As long as they are all similar.
Right.
You know, whether it's all illustrations, all acrylic paint, whatever. But it's easy to protect yourself. You do a GRUW form, and it's worth it.
Look at me learning.
Look at you learning.
Look at me learning.
Yeah.
Stop the tapes.
Right.
Write this down.
But no, I will send you the information.
Yeah, please do.
For sure, because it's like super important. And when I saw that story, I just felt compelled to like
get that information
start talking
out.
about it. Yeah, because like if she had done that little step, like she would have been able to slap Walmart in the face with the craziest lawsuit. And she would have been all set.
And she still can't copyright it now?
She can copyright it now, but
they already got their money.
Yeah. That's like putting car insurance on your car after you get in an accident. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, you have it, but the car's already damaged.
Dang. All right. That's on my to-do list this weekend.
Do that. It's not difficult at all.
Yeah.
Where do you draw your inspiration from?
So I draw my inspiration from first my emotion. What am I feeling?
Yeah.
And I try to sometimes I paint the opposite.
Okay.
So
explain that.
So sometimes I'll and I know a lot of artists that do this too, and it's actually a funny thing that we do where, say for example, I'm feeling very sad. Yep. I'll paint something yellow, something bright, something fun, something cute.
Yep.
And then sometimes I just want to just get it out. Sometimes I paint raw emotion.
Yep.
And the thing is for me is I think that the funnest thing for me as an artist is that although I'll give you a story of, of what things are, how they came about, sometimes there's like a almost like a secret part of like no one's ever going to know what that really means.
Oh, yeah.
So because it's like a diary. It's a diary that people can see.
For sure.
And so sometimes I even get really emotional and I start to cry.
Oh, yeah.
When I got interviewed downstairs in the gallery by Channel 3, I started crying.
Yeah.
I just couldn't help myself. My vulnerability came out. I was like, oh my gosh, like I think I'm going to really talk about this piece in its truest form. And I got nervous and I started crying.
Yeah.
So the more I speak about my art, the easier it gets.
Yep.
So, even doing this podcast, I was very nervous.
Okay.
I was like, dang, I hope I don't cry.
Yeah.
So when I draw from my emotion, that's where I usually lead from.
Yep.
And then once it starts to come about, once it starts to, the image starts to pull forward in the painting, then my culture kind of takes over.
Got you.
So for an example, I did the sunrise sunset for the workspace, the round canvas.
Yep.
And I was like, draw a sunset, like paint a sunset. Or paint a sunrise, like do a landscape.
Yeah.
And I started, and it just turned into a Taino sun.
Gotcha.
It just turned into my style, and then not that I couldn't draw or paint a sunset or sunrise. It's just when I started, I was like, that's what my paintbrush wanted to do.
Got you.
It's kind of trippy.
Yeah.
To think about it.
Yeah. So do you use anything other than acrylic paint and canvas, or is that like that's where you like to stay?
Acrylic paint is where it's where I sit.
Okay.
Sometimes for texture, I'll do like puff paint and I'll let that dry and then I'll paint on top of it.
Okay.
Sometimes I'll use like a gel medium to mix in with my paint. And I usually seal it too. Metallic colors I like to always add. That's one thing about my art is I like to really add in metallic wherever I can.
Okay.
For some reason, for me, metallic, it reminds me of like when the sun hits off the ocean water.
Oh, yep.
You kind of get that like,
yeah,
you know, that shine from the water.
For sure.
So water's my favorite, so I just try to bring that into everything.
Got you.
Yeah.
So I just want to go back to something that you said about painting the opposites. Because that actually it didn't make sense at first when you said it.
Yeah.
But then once you explained, it makes perfect sense. It actually sounds like that's like subconscious therapy.
Yeah.
Without, like, that's the therapeutic part without really realizing it. But like you said, if you're sad and you draw something happy, that should like pull your emotions to...
I just strongly believe that environment is such a strong influencer to how you feel and how you live your day-to-day life.
Definitely.
So I believe that bright colors and fun colors are, will bring out almost like a childish, innocent memory or feeling.
Yep.
And I like art that does that.
Gotcha.
I like art that kind of makes it go, oh, wow.
Yeah.
And colors usually tend to do that for me.
Yep.
So I do like to try to fill those spaces in my house with things that would make me feel happier.
Gotcha.
I am naturally a happy, bubbly, optimistic person.
Yep.
But with that, everyone is a human.
Yeah.
And, dark times are real.
For sure.
So for sure, like I do try to take any of those negative emotions. Here I go. Take any of those negative emotions.
Yep.
And I try to work through them.
Yep.
Patiently.
Yep.
As the paint dries, as I figure out colors.
Yep.
And then at the end of it, I come up with something beautiful. And it, one of those things that no matter what is bad in life, you can always make it something good.
Yeah,
so.
For sure. So if there was one piece of advice that you could give to someone that is aspiring to be an artist, like, a younger girl, boy, what would it be?
So my little slogan is like, wet your brush and keep going.
Okay.
So when I say that, I always think like, even if you start and you don't really like it at the moment, you just got to keep going.
Yeah.
Like, just fine tune it or just go crazy. Like, just keep going. No matter what, your painting never even has to stop. You can work on that same canvas for years if you want.
Yeah.
It's who made up the rules? There's no rules.
Right.
Yep. So wet your brush, keep going. And that your brush can be anything. It could be clay, it could be, videos, it could be whatever. So find your passion.
Yep.
Live off of that passion. Just like feed it. Because that's gonna make you do more than than yourself.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Be a greater version of yourself.
For sure.
And passion and interest, that all plays a part into it. But you just have to keep doing it.
Yeah.
It's a daily thing.
Definitely.
The days that I don't paint, I'm thinking about painting.
Yeah.
I'm the things. I'm organizing my art supplies. I'm always having my mind on what really brings my passions out.
Got you. These
canvases I bought in Puerto Rico, the paint that I used, I bought in Puerto Rico when I was on vacation. But they were, because I had to travel with them, they got bent.
That's a whole different layer to this painting.
Yeah.
Legit.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Because it's one thing to be like, oh yeah, this is a painting of the Puerto Rico flag.
No, I was in Puerto Rico. I actually have these flowers.
Yep.
So these earrings were made in Puerto Rico, and I have a set that are just the flowers. So I took off my earring. I just kind of threw it.
Yep.
I had bought all my stuff. I threw my earrings down after coming back because I was going to get ready for the pool and the beach.
Yep.
And then I came back from the pool and the beach, and my earrings were on top of the canvas.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my gosh. And immediately I was like, oh my gosh. And then I traced it.
Yep.
And because I had already done the flag, so I already did the red, white, and blue.
Got you.
And it just fell. I traced it, and I just kept going.
So like a little happy accident.
Yes. A little Bob Ross moment.
Yeah. Word.
So because they were on flat board canvas, they were bending, naturally with the paint and just traveling with them. So I went to Jerry's.
Artarama.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I worked with the framing department, and they pulled out some beautiful frames.
Yeah.
And these are the frames that I selected to complement the art. And it's definitely been a game changer for how I present them.
Oh yeah.
You know, because just the canvas is great.
Yep.
But when it's framed, it gives yourself a little bit a higher level of professionalism.
Absolutely.
And so as an artist, I did want to make sure that people didn't see my art as
like amateur.
right.
Yeah.
I mean, I am. I'm not a pro, but this makes it look a little better.
Technically,
Technically,
if you do something and you're generating money for it,
technically, I am a pro.
you have gone pro. Yeah. So yeah,
Pop the bottle.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Now, I saw on your Instagram you like to dance.
Oh, I love to dance.
Okay.
Oh, it's my first passion.
All right. So
Yeah,
did you
dancing.
ever?
I've been doing that since I was born.
Okay. This might sound weird. I'm freestyling. This is totally
Go
off the
ahead.
top of my head.
Do your thing.
You know how you have finger painting, right? Would it be weird to do like a foot painting?
Oh.
Like wet your feet with paint and then just, you know.
I mean, I'm sure people have done that.
Probably.
Probably.
But I haven't heard anybody say that.
I haven't. No, I haven't. I feel like I would slip and fall.
Maybe. See, I haven't thought about these things and I've never had paint on my feet, so I don't know.
Yeah. Maybe I'd slip and fall though. Maybe. I don't know.
So maybe that wouldn't be a good
Maybe
idea.
if it was like on a canvas.
Yeah.
Like a thicker canvas.
Yeah.
Not like paper, not
Yeah.
like anything. It has to be like a thick, like a...
I just remember my question.
What is that?
Boom. Techniques.
Technique.
Do you have a favorite technique?
No.
No?
No.
Do you have any techniques that you want to learn?
So for the longest I actually wanted to stay away from drawing people.
Okay.
So the techniques that I'm learning still
Yep.
are definitely just features of people.
Okay.
I could do features of animals, perfectly fine.
Got you.
But people and hands,
Yep.
smiles, eyes, all that stuff. For me, when I do it, I'm like, oh, it's too cartoonish. I just wanted to make it a little bit more finer, a little bit more, not super, not hyper realistic.
Yeah.
But something when you look at it, you're like, oh yeah, that's definitely a human, not a cartoon.
Right. So I know hands is definitely something that is a general struggle.
Yeah.
I've seen all kinds of posts and jokes about that.
Yeah.
So I guess it's the perspective.
Yeah.
Is that so? What is it that makes it harder to draw a human face than an animal face?
I guess it's with the animals, there's less. I don't know. We can't really hear what they say or how they feel.
Yeah.
With humans, we can hear how they say, and so when someone talks, like the muscles in their face are different, right?
Yep.
So when someone smiles, it's a different muscle every time. Every person has their own muscle.
Yeah.
So I think for that, it's just trying to translate. This is a smile into a genuine smile. It's not like a scared smile. It's
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not like my eyes don't really match what my mouth is doing, and my nose is this way, but my eyes are this way.
Got you.
It's just composition of it all, and making sure that the emotions all make sense, and understanding like just anatomy, and understanding where things are when someone does smile, someone does cry.
Yeah.
So I'm still learning that. I'm still trying to, work in that.
Okay. So what are you doing to learn that and get better at it?
Practice. So I practice a lot with it. And I watch YouTube videos.
Okay.
I go on Instagram, kind of watch clips.
Yep.
But for me, I am a visual learner. I do need to see how people try it.
Yeah.
But I have to do it over and over and over and over again until I get it right. Which
sure.
is why I love acrylic paint.
Okay.
Because I can let it dry and then go back to it.
Gotcha.
And change complete eye shape like it was never there before.
Oh,
you know?
Yeah, got you.
So acrylic paint has been easier. I haven't really tried any other mediums seriously.
Okay.
So like oil painting, watercolor, like I haven't really done any of that.
Okay.
Graphic design, any of that. My partner does graphic design.
Okay.
And he helps me out a lot with just ideas, and he'll look at something, he goes, you should probably do a white line around this.
Yeah.
And like, I like that,
Yeah.
And I do it, I was like, oh, thank God. Thank God I got those eyes, know, because, from another artist, they'll be able to kind of see where I'm trying to go with it.
For sure.
And for him, he went to college for art, so you know, he's very talented in his profession. So it's great to have that resource too.
Yeah.
You know, and he'll teach me, like, and he's hyper realistic drawer too. So
okay.
He'll be like, you should probably do this. And
Yeah.
so it's nice to have someone there to help me too.
Yeah, that hyper realistic stuff is like, what? I just watched a time lapse video of this guy. He was like literally, first of all, the canvas was huge. There was like beads of sweat and like pores in the skin. I was like, what?
Wow.
Yeah.
It's almost, for me, it's almost like, okay, I'm going to science. I'm going to like the cells, like the microscopic versions of our cells, right? That's what I think that they see. And I can't see that big or that small.
Yeah.
Yet.
Right.
I can't see that big or that small yet.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's definitely something you just have to work on.
Yeah.
And be like, okay, this is what I'm going for.
Yeah. And from everyone that I talked to, it never came to them overnight. They had to do it over and over again until they got it right. So
for sure.
I'll be on my way.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
All right. So what are your plans for 2023?
2023, I'd like to do more murals. I did a couple murals last year.
Okay.
So I would like to do more murals. That was challenging because I was like, what?
Yeah.
You want me to do what? Where?
So now, was it challenging because of the size of it?
Yeah,
or?
size,
okay.
And also I never did anything outside of a canvas.
Oh, okay.
So I painted shoes, which were canvas shoes. So like that was, you know,
it was
similar.
Comfortable.
Right. And then I was like, oh, can you come paint this? They were like, can you come paint this bus stop? I was like, glass? I've never painted on glass before.
Yeah.
So I needed help with that. But that ended up being great, you know. And then I did a mural in a library at a school.
Okay.
And so a wall, which is, I mean, I've painted a wall, you know, regular paint. Like, let's get this wall green, you know?
Yeah.
But they were like, no, we want a big tree. And so I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I had to like step back. And like I said, seeing things too big or too small, like I'm still working with that spatial awareness.
Gotcha.
So I had to step back. I'm like, okay, where do I want this tree to be? Where do I want the branches to be? And I had to like figure that out. And I also don't sketch.
Okay.
So some artists, like, they'll sketch out their ideas in a, you know, or they'll even draw out their ideas on the canvas first. And I never did.
Okay.
And so I never, even when I try to, I'll outline with paint, but I won't ever like sketch anything out.
Gotcha.
So everything that I have is its original version. There's never like a paper sketch version of this. Okay. There's no existence of that.
Got you.
This came out and it stayed there.
Yeah.
And it's never been replicated either.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's just, it's fun. But yeah, so more murals, more challenging murals, I guess.
Yeah. So what would make it bigger? Is that what make it more challenging?
I guess bigger. I would love to do more collaborations with artists. That's been fun. I did a couple collaborations last year.
Yep.
And that was actually some of my most memorable times, is getting together and creating with other artists. For sure. So I'd love to do more collabs. So if any other artists want to collab.
Are you affiliated with Rise Up at all?
So I actually did the mural for Rise Up for the bus stop.
Okay.
So that's where they sponsored that project.
Okay.
So yeah.
Cool. I was gonna say, like, you definitely, that's like, I feel like that's the place to start.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, they've got a big collective going on right now.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Any collective is great to be a part of and to have that experience with, for sure. So I'm happy to be a part of that whole project. These past couple years, the uprising and the amount of artists and the wave that the artists are taking movement into it, like collaborating and joining collectives and joining groups and being supportive of other artists. It's just been so wonderful because, you know, we all understand each other. We understand where we're coming from. For sure. We all understand the struggles. Yep. And it's just been fun to just create new friendships and new connections with other artists. Definitely. So it's been fun. So yeah, getting a part of the collective or the art club, let's do it up.
All right, before we wrap up, can you shout out any websites, anything you want to promote, your Instagram, any of that?
So you can find my art at kisstheheavens_art. That's pretty much where all my art is at the moment. Okay. Like I said, I'm just focusing on my art at the moment. So the business side of it all, making a website, that's all still in the works. Okay. So hopefully next time.
Hey, that makes it easier though. There's one spot they can go to.
Yeah.
This is where you come.
Yeah, my email's right there.
Cool.
My DM's open.
Gotcha.
Don't get crazy.
Don't get crazy. real inquiries only. Like, for real.
Tell me about your dreams. I guess. I don't know.
Word. So, yeah. If somebody were to come to you and be like, hey, I dreamed about this. Can you paint this? Would you shy away from that?
So, I try my best to paint through my emotion.
Okay.
When it comes to commissions, I'm very choosy.
Yep.
Just because I don't want to I understand when someone comes to me for a commission, they're coming to me for my style of art.
Right.
If I can't connect with a certain subject or connect with a certain idea,
yep.
I'll politely tell them, Nick, I'm sorry, like I don't think that's in my realm right now. I don't have, whatever I have to say, but politely.
Mm-hmm.
But there have been commissions that I've connected with the person, I've connected with their story, and I said, you know what, I can definitely do that for you.
For sure.
Honestly, a lot of my friends have some of my paintings that I've just like, here, I want to give this to you.
Yeah.
I've done some paintings for like pets that have passed away.
Mm-hmm.
I've done like a wedding gift, like here's your wedding day picture.
Yep.
I've done many things, and a lot of my friends have my art. Like, just here, just take it.
Hey, that's it has value.
I don't have any more room in my house. Take this.
For sure. But that's cool though, because it still has value. It's something that's special, and like they can't get it anywhere else.
Yeah.
And you're never empty-handed. It's like, hey, yeah, I got you another piece.
Right.
This came from me. I'm giving you a piece of me for your birthday. You should be so happy, like, So,
yeah, I was like, man, everyone's gonna get paintings this year.
Hey,
that's what it is.
That's
paint year.
yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're gonna wrap it up.
Okay.
I appreciate your time.
Thanks for talking
much.
to me.
Yeah.
Thanks for inviting me on, and thanks for showing off my work for me.
Yeah.
You can see this at the Workspace Galleries until January 31st.
Okay, because this what's today's date? This is coming out Monday.
This is coming out Monday. So then Tuesday, I guess, will be the last day to see it.
All right, so by the time this comes out, you got one more day. One more day.
Make it to the gallery at Workspace in Manchester.
Yeah, 903 Main Street. Let's go.
Let's go.
All right, appreciate
Thank you so much.